Well, as you can see, I had it covered up so there's no snow on it, and there's a lot of snow around here, but it's a day that's around 0, so it's pretty mild, and it's not snowing. So I think we're going to get after torquing up all the mains and the connecting rods, and throw cotter pins in them, get our oil pump on, look into putting our front cover on and our what do you call it, bell housing, flywheel. So we might as well get on it. I don't know what day it is, but it's probably the 17th, maybe, February 2025. I got this torque wrench set to 90 foot-pounds, and I believe the torque require 95. So I turn them up to 90 pounds and see where they're sitting with the castle nut to the holes, and just turn them forward again. It's probably going to add up to the final 95 anyway, so it's the way I'm doing her. I'm torquing the connecting rods up to 50, and then go further to find the hole in the castle nut, and that's going to bring it up. I think they're supposed to be 56, 58 or something. Okay, we'll see if the engine still turns over. Oh yeah, good to go. Now let's just hunt up some cotter pins. All right, well, I got all the keeper pins in there, 16 of them, I believe. All the mains and the connecting rods are all done. I had a little trouble with this one in particular. This one I had to put on a the next size down split key cotter pin, whatever you want to call it, because I tried adjusting the you know, the way the castle nut is, you know, a little bit one way or the other, and couldn't get it to that original pin or the proper size to go in through there. So I have a little drift punch I can run through there, and it went through all right, but I still could not get a proper cotter pin in there. And going with different experiences, these are pretty high grade bolts, and I opted out not to run a drill bit through it because I figured that's going to be a mistake. So I just went with the next size down keeper pin. It's going to work. We'll be all right. On to the next thing. I think we'll get the oil pump and the suction screens and the front suction horn on, get all that on, and then we'll commence on gaskets. Go on. I still have to remember to torque down those hex bolts off the rear main. Okay, all the rotating assembly there inside the block is pretty much finished. Cotter pins, everything. And I do have the oil pump installed and the front horn installed there that sucks oil from the front of the oil pan in its own little sump. Now we just got to work at this mess up here in the front. I got to get this front cover on, clean off all those old gaskets, try to make some kind of gasket. And here to note, there is not one basic cover on this engine except for the main block that has not been cracked. This is broken and this piece is missing, but it's not really a big deal. This one here is good on this side. But the bell housing at the back, it's been busted open. And yeah, it's been having quite a bit of an abusive relationship in the last few decades of its running life. All of the fasteners in between the block and the oil pan, like on the interior here, have all the fold over locks have been replaced with lock washers. This is the only lock that's available, so you might as well make sure that it's folded over. Okay, almost like a pro. I got the primary cover, or the very front end cover, in place. It's not totally bolted down, but I got a gasket, and it's snugged up with all the bolts that have threaded holes. The rest of these are nuts and bolts. Just wanted to point out that this is another cover. Both this corner and that corner has been broken clean off. Just kind of makes you wonder what the heck, did this get dropped off a helicopter or something? I don't know. I'm just going to put this cover back on the front of the governor housing, because this shaft just kind of floats around in there for now. It's not pinned to anything. So I'm just going to, I just want to keep it inside, because when I'm turning the motor over, like flipping it upside right, I don't want it flopping out and breaking or getting bent or whatever the story might be. I'm just going to put a couple of bolts in hand tight just to keep it from causing itself any damage. Again, there's only 2 fold over locks left, and they're really bad shape. I'm just putting them in because they're here. They should be replaced. The other bolts have lock washers put in place, and I should actually theoretically be getting rid of those, just go with lock washers. But this is just a temporary assembly. I just want it all together to keep everything in one place, and we'll take care of the details later. What I'm looking at here is the inside of the oil pan, and this is the very last of the really sludgy, greasy, grimy components, and it's going to take me a while to clean this up. I got it sitting up in the sunlight there to kind of warm things up a little bit. Maybe I'll get the propane on it and thaw it out. But we'll just see what we got here. We'll just start scraping. So far it isn't so bad. It's just a bunch of tar, real thick gooey stuff. We'll just put that over in the burn barrel. So that's what it's going to be like for the next hour or two, just scraping that sludge off. The very bottom of the sump is about an inch deep, and it goes up underneath that baffle, that false floor. There's a compartment reaches way up in there. This is just a false floor to trickle down the oil from the forward part in there, what doesn't get pumped. But in here is a whole area down there. It's right full. Okay, I spent a lot of time there cleaning that up. It's not as clean as what it should be, that oil pan that is. And you can barely see in this kind of light that I've got a gasket laid out. It's made out of paper. It's what we had. That's what we're going to use here for now. It's just a temporary thing anyway. So pretty much ready. I'm just going to lift her up and put her in place and call her a day. And just like that, it's sitting on the bottom of that block. That was a bit of a heavy lift, but it's on there. I'm not going to bother going any further with it tonight. Got a lot of bolts to put in, but it's all nested on there. The gasket is in place. And what I did was I laid that paper gasket in place, but I run every once in a while bolts up to hold it, so it holds the paper, and then as the oil pan goes down, it gets on those bolts and just goes down. They act as dowel pins. So now tomorrow I'll just run these out and run them in the right way, and Bob's your uncle. Okay, if you like these videos, just like and subscribe and make comments. I've been getting quite a few comments, and it's all good. I'd love to have a little bit of a rapport going with whoever's watching. And yeah, we'll catch up to you again. Bye for now.